What is the meaning of a rainbow? Does it have a meaning? What do you think of when you see a rainbow? Do you think of anything? Does anything pop into mind? A lot of us think of a leprechaun and the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Some of us might think of the rainbow flag, LGBTQ plus pride. Some of us might just know that it's weather related. It's scientific. So when it rains, the sun comes out, it causes these colors to come out. Whatever you think it is, I mean, that could be your truth. But what I read when I made Genesis 9:13 short last night changed my whole outlook on what a rainbow means. So now, to the point where I see a rainbow now, I'm going to think of God. And I think that benefits me, and I think that can benefit you too. I'm changing it up a little bit. 9 out of 10 of my videos are sobriety related. I haven't made a faith-based one in a while, but I feel like God had a purpose for me today. I got my Bible out, my physical Bible. I bought this about 2.5 years ago when I started attending church frequently, and I haven't really used it ever since. I read online on my phone, and I have the YouVersion Bible app, and I use that. That pretty much puts everything in perspective for me. There's a plan that I follow on there, so it's easy. But I feel like God's timing is for me to pull out this new International Version Bible. I prefer it over the King James just because it's a little bit easier for me to understand. But whatever helps for you, I feel like I was meant to get this Bible out for this video in particular and share with you guys my exciting news and my exciting findings about what rainbows really represent. Let's get right into it. So Genesis 9:13 says, I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. The rainbow represents a covenant between God and the earth. He's telling us that in this. But to give it a little pretext, I'll read it from Genesis 9:8, and then I'll just finish it out through 9:17. So 9:8, then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. And here's where it's 9:13. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on earth. Wow. I never looked at rainbows like that before. I never looked at it like that at all. What a blessing it is to be able to make a short like that last night. It's probably my 100th short I've made from biblical passages, but this is really I think it's maybe the second video I've made. I think I made one maybe 6 months ago. I thought I'd give it a try. Maybe I didn't have a lot of views, and maybe I just didn't feel like it was gonna work. But I feel like this is necessary to talk about. So let's just get right into it. At this point, I just want to say that what I'm seeing is that God is saying that a rainbow is a reminder of God's covenant with us. It's a symbol of God's grace, And he seems to have changed his approach on how to deal with human sin. He was hurt by the fact that every living being on earth was living a sinful life. And it made him so angry that he looked upon Noah to save the earth. After that all took place, Noah and his family and the animals all survived. God changed his tune and said that when you see the rainbow, it'll remind you that I have grace for you, I have understanding for you, and instead of coming down on you guys, I'm going to give you grace. How awesome is that? To be able to have a reminder like that. See, I look at like mountains, or when I'm out on a hike and I see a beautiful sunset, or anything that brings me closer and brings me to a thin place with God. That's kind of a moment where I know that God is there. Now that I know what a rainbow represents, and like I said, it could mean anything to anybody, but now for me, I'm going to think of God, and that is a beautiful thing. There was a time long ago, I was 21 years old. I had gotten my muffler fixed, and they gave us free air fresheners to put and hang up on the rearview mirror. And I hung it up. It was a rainbow. That was their symbol, muffler man or something like that. And I had that hanging in my mirror for at least a week or a couple weeks. And I remember being on my way to school, and I went into a gas station. I came back out, and there was a lady standing there, an older lady, probably in her 60s maybe. And she said, "You have a rainbow hanging in your car? Is that your car?" "Yeah, that's my car. I'm getting into it. Yeah, it's my car." "Are you gay?" And I said, what business is that of hers if I am? But I said, no. Why? Why do you ask? "Well, you have the rainbow hanging in there, and that's a sign, kind of represents that you're gay or lesbian." And at that point, I really never heard of that. I just kind of kept to myself mostly. I don't judge people. I never have, and I still to this day don't. But I honestly didn't know that that's what that meant. So I said, no, I didn't know that. And I'll have to let my girlfriend know too, because she has one hanging in her car too. And I went on my way. I told my girlfriend later about it, and she's like, "You didn't know that?" And I said, "No." And keep in mind, this is like 1997, 98, and it wasn't quite as prevalent then as it is now. But I didn't know. So I just kind of, to this day, until I read this last night, I kind of, if I thought of a rainbow, I would sometimes think of that. I'm to the point now where everything that I do is for God's glory, and no matter who does what or what they are and what they do in their life, however they view things, that's okay. Some might say that the LGBTQ community or the gay community stole that symbol and used it for themselves to represent pride. And of course, pride in the Bible is a sin. All these things can factor in, but for me, the Bible is a living, breathing thing, and it can be interpreted any way you want it to be interpreted. So I'm not going to go out and say like, "Oh, you have to believe this or that," or "This is God's word, and God said this and that, and so you can't be this or that." But I don't truly believe that in my heart. So the lighter subjects like the pot of gold, the leprechaun, and that kind of thing, I still kind of look at it like, it's just kind of made up, and it's kind of a fun little story to tell. I just want to share another little story with you guys. Every night for the past 2 years, year and a half, I've been reading the Lord's Prayer to my daughter, and it took me like 3 months to memorize it. And Once I memorized it, I've been saying it every night before my daughter goes to bed when I tuck her in at night. She's 10 now, and so this has been going on for a while, but the other night I kind of played around and said, I forgot the words at the beginning. Can you say them for me? That was my way of getting her to say the words, because she never wants to do the prayer. But she started saying it. And then I said the next part, and I said, can you say the next part? And she said it. And we got to the end, and she did like half of it. And I just thought, man, how cool is that? You know, my daughter will remember the Lord's Prayer for the rest of her life, because I took it upon myself to learn it, to trust in it, trust the Bible, trust God, and I can teach her what I know, and then she can use it. I mean, she can use it any way she wants to. I have family and friends that, you know, they don't really like believe necessarily totally into the Bible. They say it's written by man, so how can it possibly be true, all of it? But my view of it is that these people were from God, and it was in God's will for them to write what they wrote. So I take it as truth. With this rainbow, I'm never going to look at a rainbow the same again. How about you? I mean, I think it's just amazing. These are just some of the things that we can learn in our growth in our faith, some of the things that we can take away. And I'm going to continue making these videos and sharing with you guys the good news. You may already know that. Maybe you didn't know about it and this is new to you. Maybe you'd like to hear more from me about this, and maybe instead of like watching others or listening to other podcasts, you prefer mine. And I am so grateful that you're here. And if you made it to the end of this, please put in the comments, God is good. Like and subscribe to my channel. Let's keep this thing going. I'm going to also pin my playlist for faith down in the comment section, and also my sobriety group, Sobriety in the Storm. So I hope to see you all in the comments, in the community. Peace be with you.